Welcome to another episode of the Colin with the Boys podcast. My name is Asen, here with my co-host Dan.
Dan, what the fuck?
Did it throw you for a loop?
Yeah, it's like, wait, are we doing the wrong intro here?
No, this is the correct intro. And
All
you're
right.
now Dan.
I'm now Dan. Hello, everybody. My name's Dan. In my spare time, I like to drink alcohol and smoke a lot of cigarettes.
Well, all right, Dan. Thanks for joining us. I should be the one changing my fucking name because no one can say it right, apparently.
Asen? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
even during this podcast, like, he calls me Asen and everyone's calling me Asen, and I've just given up at this point correcting anybody.
Like, every time somebody says Asen, I'm like, I want to stop the podcast. I'm like, no, it's a son, dude. Like, just please, for the love of God, pronounce it right. It's almost become like one of those, what do you call it? Where, one of those things that, like, irritates you.
Pet peeves?
Yeah, pet peeve is when somebody
It's
says
become
your
one
name
of
wrong.
your pet peeves?
Yeah, when somebody says your name wrong, I'm like, no, that's wrong. Like,
I've heard
my ears
that my
bleed.
whole life.
Hey, Asen. I'm like, oh, Jesus, Lavos, come on, buddy.
It's cool. Like, I don't really mind. I just, like, it's a sin. Anyway, today we're talking to Lavos. We're Lavos 10. He's a Twitch streamer, which against his will is getting more popular on Twitch. The reason I say that is he likes to stream Vanilla WoW on private servers, which happens to be against the Twitch terms of service.
So don't go on there and report him, please.
Yeah, don't go report him. Don't support him either. You know, you don't want to do that.
Don't grow his community.
Don't grow his community. And this is his words. We're not being assholes either. So yeah, we talked to him about that, about streaming as a private WoW streamer on private servers. We also talked to him about the difference between retail WoW, which is current WoW, and private servers, and then just the state of Warcraft in general. So strap in, don't ban Lavos, and open a cold one.
It's where you get real fidgety and like get nervous and shit.
I'm already, we were talking in a very chill manner for the past 15 minutes, but I'm already shitting my pants right now. I'm out of nervousness. I see the red button has lit up and the time is down. So.
There's a lot of people that like get nervous when it comes to recording. I don't know why, but
You're actually not wrong. I'm not nervous, but I feel a bit fidgety right now. Huh?
right.
That's weird.
It is weird. Like there's this thing that when you know something's being recorded that other people are going to hear, like it throws something off. I don't know why. Even being used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got that the first few episodes, and even now, I don't feel nervous or fidgety or anything like that, but I do feel like there's just this. I can't explain the feeling. It's like anxiety. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, Asen's not wrong, man. Like every time I'm about to start stream, I always get like this wave of anxiety over me. But when
like feeling in your gut.
Yeah. I've always had that with like exams, like soccer games, everything, man. It's just a part of me.
Yeah, it's like,
but once it's showtime, and it's okay, right? But
yeah, I just, every time, like you, I'm like fixing to shit my pants right now.
Yeah. No. I mean, like, even if this like this was private, right, and this was in public, I'd be like shitting bricks. So, but I'm glad we're moving past that right now.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get off the shit topic.
Yes.
All right, man. So yeah, you do a private server stream of classic vanilla WoW. Which,
Correct.
is am I allowed to say it's against
Dude,
TOS?
you can say whatever you want, man. I'm down.
Like that's one of the questions I had. Like, I was like,
Uh,
does he know he's coming on doing a podcast that other people are gonna hear? Like, I feel bad. Like, I feel like I'm personally gonna get you banned from Twitch or something. Like, that's the feeling in my gut.
I'm not sure what show this was from, but there's a quote where it's like, if he dies, he dies. If my channel gets terminated by Twitch, he gets terminated. Right? I don't give it. I care. Like if it ever happens, and it's going to happen one day, right? It is illegal.
Right.
The stream has grown a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be sad when it happens, but at the same time, I really have no other desire to play any other game, and especially not retail WoW like Legion. But
Oh, come on now.
yeah, no, I
It's
tried
not
out for
that bad.
I tried out for the first month or two, man. But like all my friends play private servers. It's what I've done for the past 4 or 5 years. It's just I don't know. It's a
Have
different
private
day.
servers been out that long? 4 or 5 years?
They've been out since like bootleg servers with poor quality. Have they been out since like TBC, like fun servers where you can spawn yourself like legendary weapons, right? But the first real vanilla servers came out maybe like 2010, 2009, around that.
Oh wow!
And
I had no
when,
idea.
Yeah, that's when like private server emulation has grown more and more popular, and like coincidentally, or sorry, not coincidentally, but that wave has coincided with retail WoW becoming a bit unbearable for people that played the game in the past. So I think around that time was like Cataclysm, where sub numbers dropped dramatically, which is where people sought out vanilla servers and private servers. But as of like the last 3 or 4 years, that's when they've become really popular and really well known. So
are you excited for the classic WoW announcement, or are you still gonna like stay with private servers?
It's all about classic WoW is the end goal, right? That's that's a metaphorical heaven. That's what we hope to ascend to classic WoW. We never thought it would happen, but Blizzard surprised us last BlizzCon with that announcement, and I think a great majority of people will probably drop vanilla private servers in favor of classic. A common argument against against private servers themselves for the advent for classic, because it wasn't announced yet, right? People they announced it, but people thought that we only play private servers because it's free, and it is free, right? But a lot of the old time vanilla players like myself and you guys were adults, and $15 a month is nothing, right? So it's not the cost, right? As if they have the product out for us, we'll play it. But in the end, a majority of us will move on to classic servers. The only exception is that the first like vanilla will be out as the first thing that comes out from classic servers. So Burning Crusade and Wrath and other private servers will probably be still active, maybe if not more active, right?
Right.
When Blizzard do provide those expansions to play on, then that's when a great majority will move on. So, yeah.
One of the things I figured is like me personally, like how I'm going, like how I'm thinking about this for classic streamers like you guys. I almost have this feeling like you guys are too scared to like grow your community too big. Like, I don't know, do you feel like you can't try and grow the community because you're scared if it gets too big, then you're going to get shut down?
Oh yeah. No, yeah. That's really a common thing. The only solution for that is to go unlisted on Twitch. But if you go unlisted, then there's really no potential for growth because you can't be found, right? But in general, people have gotten banned from playing private servers on Twitch. In general, the sweet spot is if you average if you get like more than 100 on average, you're probably going to get banned because, for example, I was doing a raid on vanilla called AQ40 a month ago, and my stream peaked at 180 viewers at midnight.
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, well, like 180 isn't that much, right? But for vanilla
Right.
WoW is a lot, and the WoW section has been declining a lot on Twitch. So 180 viewers. Somebody told me I was number 4 on World of Warcraft
Oh shit.
on Twitch, and I was shitting my pants. Somebody told me because I hide my viewer count, right? I'll
Right.
go into why I do that later on, but and somebody was like, "Yo, dude, like you gotta go unlisted because yeah, like you are the first row on Twitch under World of
Oh
Warcraft."
shit.
So
That's crazy.
after somebody told me that, it was like a good friend of mine. I became nervous on like I noticed myself becoming nervous on stream.
Mhm.
I went back in the VOD and I was like, that's the moment where I started like fidgeting and kind of being a little jumpy. So yeah,
Well, I mean, I've been by your stream a few times, and I've seen it a few times over 100. So it's not like that's a
well, yeah, we are approaching that point, man, and I don't know. It's really equivalent to. I'm sure you guys have had this. I've had it myself, but sometimes we work these jobs. Maybe we're younger. Maybe we have these jobs right now where it feels like there's no upward mobility, and
Right.
it does feel like you're capped when you
Mhm.
stream legal stuff on Twitch. And I knew what I signed up for, right? I'm fine with it, but sometimes I do like. I had these thoughts to myself where I'm like, wow, I wish I was at this point, but with a legal game, so I could like develop or maybe like get a bit more popular or whatever. But in the end, I'm very happy with it. But there is kind of that like, what's it called, like a dead end job kind of thing, where it's like there is no upward mobility because
Right.
anything more and you're essentially fired from your job. You're essentially your stream is gone, right?
it's like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah,
Right.
it is, man. It's really yeah, it's actually a pretty shitty feeling, but damn, man, too much real life. We're only 10 minutes in. I'm already like I'm already like, reconsidering my life choices the past year. So yeah, man, I don't know. It just reminds me of like flipping burgers when I'm 18. Just that's it.
Fuck.
Find a new job and get a degree. So
Well, I mean, Classic WoW is going to be coming out. I don't know if it's on release of BFA or not, but you must be excited for that, to have a chance to grow your community with official Classic WoW servers.
yeah, I am excited for sure. I think they actually announced the BFA release date today or yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Today.
August something. I'm not sure what it was though.
August 14th.
There you go. I doubt they're going to release it with it. It would make no sense because that would take away attention from their main game. Like their main game is still
that's
the goal,
probably
right? So it's commonly theorized that they're probably going to release Classic WoW during a bit of downtime during BFA. Like after 2 patches, people are starting to unsub. Boom, Classic WoW. People come back in, and then
That makes sense,
right? So probably mid 2019 is probably like the earliest thing that's possible for Classic WoW. But I am excited for the community to grow it, I guess. But at the same time, people have already been kind of saying, "Oh, like you're missing more messages," or like you didn't read my post or my Twitch comment, and I guess like the higher viewership you get, the more activity you get. It feels like it does feel bad when you can't read someone's comment, right? Because somebody takes the time to post something, and when you are interactive on Twitch, like I am, because some people, they just play games and they just jack off and don't talk, but their gameplay is so you can watch them, right? For example,
Right.
But I do kind of pride myself in talking to people, and it does feel bad. When it's like 10, 20 people watching at first, I can talk to everybody. But when it's, like 10 messages per minute, and when people ask a question, if I read it, I like to give a thought out answer. I don't like reading their question and being like, oh, haha, that's funny, then move on. I like to like expand and elaborate and discuss why the answer is so, why they're wrong, why they're right, so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is exciting, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, we talked about this topic before a little bit off the recording. How you guys want to kind of like the dream jobs to have to be a full-time podcast, right? For you
Right.
guys. So I probably don't want to do full-time streaming, but I'd be lying if it never crossed my mind. Like, I'd be lying if I watched, Ninja stream. He has like 100,000 viewers, and just be like to myself, damn, that's pretty sick, right?
Right.
Play games for fun.
Right.
Do a podcast for fun. That's insane, right? That'd be
Right.
sorry, do a podcast for a living. That'd be insane. So yeah, it's crossed my mind, but I really don't envy them, like the full-time gamers on Twitch. It seems like the novelty would wear off quite quickly. But yeah, there's no doubt that's probably better than working many 9-to-5 jobs just playing games.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the job is or what you're doing. Eventually, I mean, it becomes a job. So even if you enjoy gaming a lot,
Yeah.
if you were a full-time streamer with a lot of people contacting you all the time for podcasts or sponsors, or just like getting on and streaming every night, like, it becomes a job and it becomes your life. And that can, those people need vacation from that too. But
Yeah.
it would definitely be, up there on the best jobs to have, for sure.
Oh, for sure, man. Like, I'm already having a ton of fun. And this is my first podcast. I can't imagine what it'd be like to do this full time, right?
Yeah.
But
I think for me, like, podcasting, the reason why it's so fun is, like, I'm a social person. Like, I think that's why if I didn't have a job and I just had to sit at home, like, I'd go insane. Like, I have to have that social interaction where, I go to work and I talk to people. And that's kind of what this allows, me to do. Like, I've never met you before. I don't know who you are. Like, I think we got in touch with you from a real life friend that plays with you on the private servers. And now, we're getting to, meet a new person and get to know them. And it's fun to me. Even if I never made any money from this, I have fun just sitting here getting to talk to people. So it's a blast.
yeah, it's really insane. That's why I love MMORPGs so much. I met your like friend Chris, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Him and 4 other people from Oklahoma were in my guild that I joined, and I joined a 40-man guild. It's been, you know all of them. There you go. You guys know them. I joined a 40-man guild, right? I'm a loner, don't know anybody, and immediately I am like after 1 week, I became an honorary Oklahoman, right? I don't know what you guys call it, right? Oklahoma person.
Right.
Like Chris, Matthew, everybody, Jordan, they took me in under their wings pretty much, right? And we honestly chill every day or every other day. And yeah, man, it's insane. Like, I'm a man, sorry, I'm 24 from Detroit. I have the humor of a 12-year-old boy, but
Right.
I live in Detroit, and I know, and I'm close with, formerly it was 5, now with you guys it's 7, right? 7 homies from Oklahoma. So
Yeah, dude.
that's really
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I think, man, like, the 21st century is a unique place, for better or for worse. Right, this wouldn't really happen back in the 1800s, would it? But
Right.
it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, I've been by your stream a few times, and I've noticed what you were getting on earlier was how you like to answer the people's questions from the chat, and I've noticed, like, what I've noticed is the difference between you and other WoW streamers, and it's probably why your community is growing. And that's I guess a bad thing right now, but maybe gonna be a good thing later.
Yeah.
But I think the reason for that growth is that your answers and your interaction with the chat is almost educational in a way. Like, not only do you answer their questions, but you also like to add a little bit of insight from the game or something that's going on, or a dungeon, or whatever you're talking about. You like to add your own, like, insight and opinion on something, and that's really important. And I think that's why people like to watch you so much.
Yeah, it is important, and I think a lot of that stems from the game vanilla was made 13 years ago, and
Jesus.
if you want to find information, number one, you know how there's like a meta in games, like in League or whatever,
Right?
There's like 2018 vanilla WoW is way different than 2005. And
Oh yeah.
So number one's different. Number two, if you want to find out information about the game, about a game made 13 years ago, you have to read guides made 13 years ago. And so you have to number one, 90% of those guides, the forums are just taken down, right? Due to time, they're just down. Number two, I've been playing vanilla for a long time on private servers, and it's not the exact replication of classic. There's no way, right? But it does feel good kind of being able to describe my knowledge and just like kind of talk back and forth between other people. And a lot of that also does stem from the fact that it takes so damn long to go from level 1 to level 60, which is the max level. So on one class. So I love when people come in. So I play warrior, and I played mage my whole life, and WoW, every expansion. And I've just never played a druid before. I've never played shaman. I've never played what's it called? Like other stuff too. So when people are mains of those classes and they come in and they say, well, Lavos, your opinion could be wrong. Here's why. I main this class. Here's why you're wrong. I'm right. So on, right? And it's really cool because I have no experience with those other classes because it takes so damn long to get max level and geared up on one class. So it is really cool. I do love the interaction. I know quite a bit about the game. I like to think that I'm decent. So it is nice, man. But I think a lot of that does stem from people looking on YouTube and Twitch to find out information, to get hyped up for Classic WoW, and to know what to do when it comes out and what to roll. Because the alternative is looking at, a guide made 13 years ago by 13-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
And
so
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So you say that like the private servers differ from how vanilla WoW was, and I played vanilla WoW since March 05. So I experienced a full vanilla experience before I went on to BC. But what differs from a private server to how it was back then?
Well, the number one thing about vanilla private servers right now is that nearly all the talents and the skills are patch 1.12, which is the last patch of vanilla.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's way different. I remember back in the day when I was progressing through vanilla, having a DPS warrior was a troll, right? It's like a meme thing. They do no damage. But with patch 1.12 talents, DPS warriors completely shit out damage. Right?
Yep.
So it's way different. So I think a lot of private server kind of homers will be in for a bit of a surprise, depending on what they do too, right? They could do progressive patches. We have no idea, but the game is way different on that current patch.
That's a big topic, I think, that a lot of people are having with the classic experiences. What are the quality of life changes that they're going to make with classic versus actual classic vanilla? There you have the whole group that's like, I don't want a damn thing to change. When it releases, I want it to release at 1.0, and they want to have the whole experience. And then you have some of the people, like even Chris that I've talked to, they kind of like the quality of life changes. The having the dungeon finder, and summoning stones and all that kind of stuff. There's the thing is no matter what they do, somebody's going to be pissed, and they're not going to get what they want. But like, are you a fan of having it exactly how it was when it released, or do you want the quality of life changes that some people are hoping that they're going to get?
I'm a fan of no changes. I really am. It's a bit of like a movement. It's a bit of like kind of a hashtag no changes, right? If you're in that crew. Right. So I do like having no changes. I don't want no damn dungeon finder in vanilla, dude. I don't want no LFR looking for raid.
Yeah, no.
Can you imagine looking for raid molten core? No, I'm good, dude. I'm good, man. So there are going to be changes potentially. I honestly don't think they're going to do LFR, dungeon finder, transmog.
Me personally, like, I hope they don't change a thing. Like, everybody wants classic vanilla, and I think there's a lot of people that don't understand what classic vanilla was. I didn't play in Classic. I don't think I had a computer until the end of BC, so I'm a Wrath baby myself.
Okay.
But like I remember going to Ascend's house all the time and watching him play. I watched him do Molten Core 40s and all that shit, and I watched the struggle that he had trying to level. What did you level? A druid, I think, your first
Yeah, I was
character.
I was a resto druid.
So like I watched him do that shit, and it was fucking terrible. And like all these people are like, I want classic WoW. Like I want them to experience the classic WoW, and figure out what that grind is.
But I'm also of a different opinion in the sense that I've liked now there's some things I don't like, of course, but I've liked the progression of WoW.
Retail.
I enjoy every expansion that comes out. I always find enjoyment out of it. Now, whether it keeps my attention for as long as vanilla did, that's a different story. Like maybe the content runs out where there's just a dead period. Where I get bored, but even vanilla, I think the only thing that kept me in so long was that it was so hard to level. I mean, it took me, like I said, I started March 05. It probably took me until March 06 before I hit 60.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah, no. How old are you guys right now? So how old would you guys be back in Classic 13 years ago?
I was 14 years old. I'm 27 now.
Yeah, I was 12.
Yeah.
Right. So it trust me, it took me a long time, and even like I only got up to the third boss in Blackwing Lair, and even when I did that kind of stuff, all that raiding, it was patches ahead of when it came out, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I mean, that's about as far as I got as well about
Yeah.
the third boss in there, because I actually shared an account with my brothers at the time, so I didn't even get like that much time to
No
play.
account sharing your band.
yeah, if I could go back in time, I'd report you. By the way, just
Thanks.
no problem, bud. Anytime. But so what? So what are your thoughts, Asen? I guess yeah. So what are your thoughts, Asen, on changes or no changes in Classic? And if you do want changes, what would they be?
I definitely want no changes at all. I want that part to stay as is. If people want to experience Classic WoW as it was, go for it.
Okay.
I'll even join in on the fun. I'm not gonna main that though. There's something about Classic where, for me, it's more of a nostalgia thing. Like, oh, I did that. I experienced it. Awesome. Now I don't want to do it again. All the way, anyways. Because the reason I think that way, I think it's because I've grown up with the game, and as new expansions come out, and this quality of life stuff has come out, I've grown up with the game where I've gotten a job now. I can't spend as much time on it, so it helps a more casual gamer like me keep up.
Dirty casual.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
How dare you?
But I think it works for me. Now, if I was 14 years old again, make it as hard as possible, because I have all the time in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely do see how retail definitely is catered toward people. You can be hardcore, you can be the opposite of hardcore. You can have like a job, family, whatnot, and you can still have something to do in retail. The one argument I do have is vanilla had a bit of the same. Obviously, getting to 60 in vanilla is a long time. There's no way around that. But I do feel like you can be casual at level 60. You can do 20-man raids, which are pretty like everybody remembers, like, ZG, like drunk CGs or drunk Karazhans, right, in TVC.
Right.
A bit of casual fun, bit of PvP. Bit of RP in Goldshire, right? Everybody, if you're, you can be casual in vanilla. Once you hit 60, obviously, hitting 60 might take you a year if you're casual.
Right.
But I don't know. It does feel like people kind of do argue, why did Blizzard take the game in its current direction? And the truth is, if they just had vanilla how it was for the next 12 years, World of Warcraft would have not made it 12 years.
Would have died, yeah.
Exactly.
You have to change the game, and I understand that. I don't agree with all the changes. I don't really agree with the current design direction of the game, but you have to innovate. You have to do flying mounts eventually. You have to do like, different difficulty tiers. I do understand it. But yeah, it is really unique to hear people's opinions of the other side. So
Hmm.
if
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of people that would sit here in my position, where I prefer the latest expansion or retail.
yeah,
I would prefer that would sit here and be like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit. You're just nostalgic, hardcore player." And I've talked to Chris actually many times about this, and we kind of go back and forth because I think some of the argument that comes from your side is that it's too casual now, but I disagree. I think there's just a wider scale. Like if you want to be hardcore, you definitely can be with like mythic rating. It's just a different game. That's the biggest thing.
that there was a thing that happened. Do you guys know about this server called Nostalrius? It was a very popular
Yeah.
server that got shut down.
That's when I first heard of private
Okay.
servers. Like when that whole Nostalrius thing happened. That's when I first heard about them, and that's why I was so shocked that they went back as far as you said they did.
Yeah, so I guess the story what happened was when Nostalrius died, I was gutted. By the way, I was legit gutted. I was so. I mean, it felt like I broke up with a long-term girlfriend. I was completely for 2-3 days. It felt like I was going through the motions at work and at university. It honestly was. Nostalrius, truthfully, was the most fun gaming experience of the past 10 years for me.
Right.
It really was. It honestly was amazing. But going back to my point, when Nostalrius died, my guild was kind of, we still want to play together. So we tried out WOD, Warlords of Draenor.
Mm-hmm.
That's a horrible one to try out.
Yeah,
but
it's one to come back on.
Yeah, well, so what happened was I think we had 20 of us. I think there was like still kind of flexible rating until Mythic. But anyway, we took, I think, 20 of us, depending on the day. And do you want to know what happens when 20 gamers that do vanilla bosses with one mechanic, like Molten Core, right? Want to know what happens when they head into retail raids? It's a complete train wreck. It was horrible. People couldn't tell their ass from their head, man. People had no idea what to do. I mean, anytime somebody is like, "Oh, the game was harder back then," it was harder because people didn't know as much, and people, it just took more time. It took more time,
Right.
But,
all you had back then was Thoughtbot. Like you
Yeah.
didn't have deadly boss mods.
yeah, but the current
You
rating,
didn't need it.
yeah, dude, current rating is infinitely more hard, infinitely more hard than Molten Core or whatever.
Right.
I'm telling you, I think we killed 3 bosses on like normal high maul,
Right.
and that was it. And yeah, it was a train wreck, man. People, yeah, go ahead.
That's the argument that I hate is whenever they get into classic versus retail. Like, oh, classic, vanilla WoW is so much harder. It was so much more difficult. I'm like, I said, I personally didn't play it, but like I've, watched the videos from back then. It's easy. Like, mechanics wise, vanilla is so much easier than retail.
The only challenge is that organizing 40 people is
Right.
very difficult. It really is, because one person with like a debuff on them, like on Baron Geddon, they can blow up the raid, right? And that's it. So ensuring like 20 people to not mess up is already hard enough, let alone 40 people. So
Yeah.
Right.
DC, and then So, but I do agree, man. It was just more time consuming, in my opinion. But I do. The only thing I do enjoy about current retail, when I do play it, I do try out every expansion, except for Kata. But I do enjoy rating. I do enjoy rating. Rating is always a challenge, and I try to do a high level of rating. One of my top 3 favorite patches of all time was 5.4 in Mists of Pandaria, which was Siege of Orgrimmar. I adored that raid. It lasted too long though. It was like a
It
14-month
did. It
raid.
lasted too long.
Yeah,
Jesus,
but
yeah.
if you ignore the length, I thought Siege of Orgrimmar in Timeless Isle, which was like a PvP open world zone,
Right.
was amazing. I adored that patch, but
You know, in hindsight, like, you know, looking back from now, Miss Pandaria was actually a very, very solid expansion. At
it
the
was,
time,
yeah.
it was very poorly um, reviewed, I guess, just because of the pandas.
Yeah, no,
But
it was, yeah.
yeah, like I definitely think Kata and Water are the two weakest out of the and any of the expansions.
For sure.
Um, but speaking of one guy destroying the whole raid, um, I remember doing Molten Core back in Manila,
Oh no.
and I was in a guild called Strong Spirits on Thunderlord server. Shout out.
Okay.
And you know, I was a 14, 15-year-old kid, and we're doing Ragnaros, and we had just wiped on Ragnaros, and I'm a resto druid. So I get rezzed by the paladin with divine intervention, or I think that's what it was called.
Yep. Yeah.
So I get rezzed, and I'm sitting there, you know, we're all getting ready to do another pull, and I hit one of my hotkeys and look away from my computer, and the hotkey I hit was Wrath, and I had Ragnaros targeted. And so I pulled Ragnaros and killed the entire raid again. And I was a 14-year-old kid, and you know, the raid leader was like this older guy, and I was getting yelled at. Like, my brothers were in the guild, so they like talked him down from kicking me from the guild.
Wow, they want to kick you? What?
They wanted to kick me, man. It was like we had already been frustrated on Ragnaros that night, and like everyone's durability bill was like insane already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that really is I think everybody has had that story in the past. I mean, it's natural. It's only human error. It's going to happen. But it just kind of lends to the point that when there's 40 people, it can happen way more often, which
Right.
kind of like leads into why vanilla was considered hard, like not skill wise, but just time, organization wise. It was pretty hard.
right.
Just about it. But yeah, man, I think I've pulled a couple of mobs. I pulled a couple of bosses myself on accident over the years. It's just gonna happen on any game.
Go ahead if you're going to say something, Nathan.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm personally, I'm excited for Classic WoW because I didn't get to experience, you know, the time it took to level, and like every time I watch like people play vanilla servers, like everybody still has to go to Ironforge because that's where the only auction house is, and so like the whole community is in the same place, and like that's the part like I want to experience. You know, if you want to use the auction house, you literally have to go to Ironforge. You can't go to Stormwind. You can't go to Dalaran. You know, you can't go anywhere except for that one place where it is. And I think that's one of the cool things that I'm excited for is there's certain things that if you want to do, you have to go to a certain place. You can't just do it wherever you want in the world.
Yeah, that's what I don't miss.
Yeah,
but I already experienced it, so
it's a good and bad thing. I actually learned for the first time a month ago that I don't think there's no anvil in Darnassus. And I was shocked. I was like there are night elf warriors, right?
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Night elves go to Darnassus. And if you want to be a night elf warrior blacksmith, you have to immigrate to a new country in Ironforge or Stormwind and like make your armor there. I maybe I'm just blind. I couldn't find it, but I don't think there is one. So it does. So I guess ASIN doesn't really miss that, but for me, it does lend into the part of the RPG portion of MMORPG.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a role playing game. You know, if I guess certain things can be crafted in certain areas. Auction house is only in one zone, for example. It is really cool. Like, for example, there's armor pieces that you can only make inside, I think, BRD, Black Rock Depths, with like the dark iron stuff. Yeah. So
yeah.
for me, like it just lends to the RPG aspect of the game that's definitely been missing recently, in my opinion.
See, I
So
don't mind that stuff necessarily. I just think like the one auction house was just weird. Like
yeah,
at the
yeah,
time, of
I
course, I
agree.
didn't mind, but just in hindsight,
My bad.
at this point, I'm like,
Well,
like why
well,
why is there only one auction house?
every private server on patch 1.12 actually has the auction houses in Darnassus, Stormwind, and Ironforge. So like
Oh,
that
okay.
right there is a custom quality of life fix, and people that want no changes, like they potentially don't realize that that was added on later in vanilla. So if we start from the first patch ever, the only auction house is in one zone. So they don't really
Yeah.
realize that. But there are definitely some things that like going back to the RPG thing, there are these long quests for like hunters for their hunter bow and their hunter weapon. There's a
Mm-hmm.
long quest for the
Yeah, I miss
warlock
stuff like
mounts,
that.
the paladin mounted, like that kind of stuff. I got I got my Kelsarar half a year ago, and it was epic, man. It was still epic, and like having a Nixia breathe onto the sword to like forge it and to I don't know encase it in fire. Like for me, when I crafted it, that was it was insane. Imagine doing that 13 years ago, right?
Right.
Right.
That'd be an all time favorite gaming moment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it does feel good, Nathan and Nason, when you zone into Ironforge or a main city and you see honestly hundreds of people run around.
Everybody's
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
It feels like like a Lord of the Rings town, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean we know what that feels like because we're on an RP server, so
Oh, so
the
okay,
cities are
okay,
always
cool.
full.
Yeah, yeah, cool. No, that's cool. I actually did play on Emerald Dream for a little bit, and I think it's RP PvP server, Emerald
Yeah,
Dream.
that's an RP PvP. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. It definitely does feel like there's still a community on those servers. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a
Yeah, I mean, we're on Moonguard and Wormrest Accord.
Moonguard.
Moonguard
Yeah.
is actually
Oh,
okay. So unfortunately, what's happened? What's happened in the past few years
uh,
is that the Moonguard Horde community has moved to Wormrest Accord, and
oh, okay,
so it's very divided right now. Like if you want to RP Alliance, you want to be on Moonguard, and if you want to RP Horde, you want to be on Wormrest Accord. So
okay.
that doesn't lend to much RP PvP, which is one of my favorite parts of that whole community.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Can you
But
can you tell us some Moonguard stories?
Oh my God. Yeah.
uh,
I've heard so many, but I need to get confirmed by someone.
Moonguard stories. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot.
Tell us the most raunchy Moonguard story.
Well, I just for the listeners and you, if you ever want to actually like laugh your ass off and have a good time,
Okay.
install the Total Roleplay 2 add-on. It's called Total RP 2.
What is that?
It's an add-on where it's really cool. But basically you can add a last name. You can add like what your like characteristics about yourself, like what people would see at first glance, seeing your character. And when you mouse over people, it pulls up their profile at the bottom right, so you see all that, like their icon and everything. It's really cool. Now, get that add-on and go to Goldshire and just read people's profiles. You
Oh
will
my
laugh
God.
your absolute ass off.
So I think for the most part, anybody that plays World of Warcraft retail, they know what the Goldshire Inn is on Moonguard Alliance. I think, what is it? It's nicknamed Pornshire now, I think is what it's called.
Oh yeah.
And basically, when you go in there, it like any of your furries, your all of your weird niche like freak show shit is in there. Like all the Fuda stuff, like all the tentacles with furries. Like it's like if you want to have a good time, drink a few beers, have a couple shots, and go into Goldshire Inn and just read the shit and look at the people and what they're doing. It's absolutely disgusting. And it sucks because Moonguard is a really good server. There's a lot of cool people on there. There's a lot of decent PvPers, good raiders. and like everybody, anytime you hear Moonguard, everybody's like, "Oh, fucking faggots," you know. That's just the general census of people on Moonguard is, you know, they're all freaks and they go in the Pornshire Inn and jerk off to each other, and it sucks because it's killed the server. And whenever you try and get into PvP like RBGs or anything like that, as soon as it comes up that you're from Moonguard, nope, denied.
Yeah, there's actually been a few times where our friends have been denied into like a heroic raid group because they're from Moonguard.
Oh, I don't doubt it, man. Back in the day, like when they added the tags of your server and there's like cross-run stuff, you know, I hate to say it in 2018, but back in the day, people would auto-decline people from Ragnaros because they didn't speak English because they're from.
Yeah,
they still do that.
Still common.
Yeah, they still do that. It's just
unfortunate. Okay, so this isn't racist. This is just what happens. Okay. I'm not joking. This is just what people say. So I'm a PvPer. I like to PvP a lot.
Okay.
And I like to do rated battlegrounds. And every time we go into a rated battleground and the opposing team is all from Ragnaros, they call them bean teams.
Yikes.
Yeah. And I don't doubt they're because I think that's a Brazilian server if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I don't remember. All I know is they speak either Spanish or Portuguese. I think it's Brazilian.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
And like every time I see a mage, like it's their water elemental says Elemental de Agua. I'm just like, yep, that's the guys.
Why is that
but the good thing is, or I guess the bad thing for you is that they actually have like 2 or 3 really strong RBG teams that kick anyone's ass. So seeing them is scary in high rated RBGs.
I had no idea. All I knew is, I guess it's not really about them being a certain, like from a certain region. It's about their low skill level back in the day on Ragnaros. That was like a common like meme or whatever. So like anytime you polymorph a mob, you know, the warrior homie from Ragnaros is ready to break it. Right? He's just ready to go and break it. So what do you like? Is that a good or bad thing? Do you guys think it's a good or bad thing that there are either stereotypes or prejudices associated with the server? It could be good too. Like it could be like if I see a person from Tichondrius or a high rate PvP server, it's like, oh, you know, could be a good player.
Yeah, I don't mind the stereotype because I like proving people wrong.
Yeah,
when I'm from Moonguard and I prove them wrong as like a legitimate PvPer, and then they're like, oh shit, Moonguard's got it going on, you know.
Yeah.
But and just the other way, you know, usually when you see Tichondrius, you're like, oh, this guy must be a PvPer, and then you see someone that really sucks from Tichondrius, and you're like, well, I guess not everyone is, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a stereotype, and it's not necessarily true for any of the servers.
Yeah, I doubt it.
But I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. It's whatever.
So me and my younger brother were talking. It was the other day. And I wanted to bring this up to see what you guys thought about it, but we were talking about the end of World of Warcraft, and I was kind of talking to him about how I saw it going down with the whole classic stuff getting ready to come out and whatnot. And I know a while back somebody, I think it was Ian Hazakosa, said that they had content staged all the way out until 2020. So up until 2020, they have stuff already planned, you know. They have 2 more expansions or whatever. So, you know, we have the one in 2018 coming out in August. And then, you know, your typical 2 years later, you'll have, you know, the next one coming out. And I think they're going to tie up loose ends with BFA. And then I personally think 2020, you're going to see the last World of Warcraft expansion. And then they're going to have Classic come out sometime. I think probably the dead period of BFA, like, you know, your last 6 months or last year before the expansion's over, you know, there's only 1 raid left. There's not a whole lot to do. That's when Classic is going to drop. And then they'll have the expansion come out in 2020, and then they're going to end World of Warcraft there, but they're going to continue releasing the expansions to Classic. So, you know, you have Classic for a year and a half or whatever, and then they drop TBC, and then they drop Wrath, and they continue just pretty much replaying the game. And as far as I know, as long as you're subscribed to retail, you get the Classic or whatever. Like, there's no additional charge. Or is there going to be an additional charge? I don't even know.
They haven't talked about it yet, but it's kind of like hypothesized that that'll be the case. You get both, right?
Right. So they end World of Warcraft in 2020 with that expansion, but they keep all of their subscribers because, you know, a good chunk of them are going to go back and play Classic, and they're pretty much just going to string all the expansions back out, and they're making money off of nothing, while maybe giving them time to, you know, work on a different game or something. So,
well, I think I still think they would lose a ton of people. And the reason I say that is because the RP community is actually a pretty large community overall servers within WoW. I think that would be gone because people don't want to replay those times. They want to continue developing their story or their character. So I think they would lose a lot of those people. PvPers might stay around, but probably not if they have to keep changing things. I'm not sure how that would work, but I think a better option for Blizzard would be, sure, ending it as is in 2020, and then they need to redo the engine, redo the graphics, and make a World of Warcraft 2 Electric Boogaloo, and just
wow,
like kill it, like with really nice textures and everything, and just like take over the MMORPG market again.
Well, so the thing is, I just don't see a reason for them to kill WoW right now. Obviously, they have less subs by far compared to Vanilla the Wrath, but apparently they make a killing off of the store. What's it called?
The in-game store.
Yeah, the in-game store. Apparently they make a killing. They do on all games, on Hearthstone.
Oh yeah.
Here's the Storm, World of Warcraft. They make a killing off like in-game pets, booster packs on Hearthstone.
Dude, I've spent so much money on like realm transfers and race changes and faction transfers.
The fact that
boosted characters.
The fact that they can charge, it's astounding how a company can charge money in 2018 for realm transfers. Like, I always rant about this, man, but like Blizzard, for all their, you know, their positives and negatives, they're pretty greedy in the fact that they're the only MMO, World of Warcraft, that charges a box fee for the expansion,
right?
A sub fee, and has an in-game store, and there's WoW tokens. Like,
well, I was actually talking about this earlier today. I was telling you to
shut that down. Like you milk that cow until it dies, man.
Yeah. The funny thing is I had unsubbed from WoW for like the last 2 months or something like that because it came to a dead end and I wasn't doing anything. So I just unsubbed until, you know, pre-patch for BFA. And I was sitting here yesterday. We were getting ready to, you know, we were talking about having you on the podcast. I was like, man, you know what? I'm going to pay that $15 subscription and log back in and see what's going on. And I shit you not. I put in my credit card number, popped in the $15. I opened up the game, stood there and stared at my screen for like 15 minutes, and then I exited, just got off. I was like, how the fuck does Blizzard keep getting me to come back and give them $15 for nothing? I literally log on and then log back off. I'm like, well, fuck, there goes $15 for nothing.
It's astounding, man. I just don't know what they put in the water over there, but people
something. It's bad.
People will always people are just excited for their expansions, even though they think themselves, wow, the past 3 expansions were dog shit. I'm sure I'm sure they failed again, and it's resub again. Buy the game again,
right?
And then I think I'll continue on for a long time. But yeah, go ahead, Asen.
I think Legion was actually a step in the right direction. I think they're going in a good direction. And
Legion
now
was by far better than WoD. I agree, dude.
Yeah, way better. And I think with what I've heard about BFA so far is they're bringing a lot of vanilla aspects back. And I think that may bring some people back. I hope it does. I like to see a thriving community on WoW. But they're bringing back like scrolls, like, scrolls of protection, things like that. Like they're actually bringing back the RPG aspect
yep.
of the game where, every profession has a place. Every item you get has a place in what you're doing. And I'm excited for that. So hopefully it's good, but yeah, I don't honestly see them ending in 2020, especially with how they're doing right now. They can keep popping out expansions until 2026 easily.
The thing is, they've retconned so much lore that it's not even about loose ends anymore. They can just make up whatever whatever they want, and just people will lap it up. I have one question for you guys though. This is a common question in the private server Classic WoW community. So let's say we go through Molten Core to Naxxramas. We're at the end of vanilla on Classic WoW. They can either repeat that cycle again. That's what many private servers do. A new fresh server, go from MC to Nax again. They can go to TBC, and they can do all three at once, of course, right? Different servers, or they can do Vanilla Plus. Would you guys in Vanilla Plus would be like having the same core philosophies and gameplays of Vanilla, but new raids? Like I think Karazhan was designed to be a Vanilla raid. There's the Emerald Dream. There's Oldham, I think. What's that? Yeah, Oldham. I think that could be like a potential raid in Vanilla. Grim Batol could be a potential raid in Vanilla. Would you guys like to see a Vanilla Plus version of the game? You're still level 60. There's still like the core design gameplay mechanics, like no LFR, no LFD, no transmog. But would that be something that you guys would want to see? And if not, like why wouldn't you want to see it? Or why would you want to see it? Either way.
Do you want to go first? Or?
Yeah, you can go first.
I think I would like to see it, but that doesn't mean I would participate. And I think the reason, like, I would like to see that, and I probably would participate, but in general, I don't really, like I said, I like the quality of life stuff too much, and I don't have the time to look into like putting a 40-man group together without a group finder, because like actually joining a big guild and getting everyone together for a day.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I would like to see that. I would like to see as many different iterations of WoW as possible. I would like for there to be a classic that kind of reruns through all the expansions again. That's probably something I could actually participate in and enjoy, especially during certain expansions. Pop in and do that. But as far as a Vanilla Plus, it's an interesting idea. I don't know. I would like to see it.
What about you, Nathan?
Like for me, I like Vanilla Plus. Like if you took Vanilla Plus, like the concept of it, and ran through all the expansions, like I would be fine with that. Like basically what you're saying is, you have all these, different raids or whatever that come out. Like just stay at level 60, I guess, if you want, and then somehow release, all the other raids or something within that same game. Like, is that what you're getting at?
Yeah,
or
well,
like whole new content?
It'd be new content, I think. It'd be like a new raid. The thing is, I'm not for or against it. I kind of like going from vanilla to TBC, but it's like a commonly talked about thing where people wonder, like, what would the game be if Blizzard never changed? Like if Blizzard never had flying mounts, if Blizzard kept it at 60, right? And they released new battlegrounds or new raids, but with vanilla gameplay mechanics and design. So I'm just curious what you guys think about it.
I mean, I think as a game, you have to have that progression, since otherwise you die. Because at the end of the day, what a lot of people, I think, forget is World of Warcraft, Blizzard is a business, and they have to make money. Yeah. And so you have to cater towards, your biggest clientele. And what is that now? That's, that's your casual gamer. And so as much as it sucks, and as much as I'd like to see some of the less casual aspects come back, that's what keeps me, okay, Blizzard, I understand, because they're a business. They have to make money, and they can't say, well, go fuck 75% of, the people that pay us money. We're going to, pay attention to the other 15-20%. They can't do that.
Yeah, of course not. No, I think that's why I said before. I think like, they'll never release BFA and Classic at the same time. BFA and expansions after BFA are definitely probably going to be. I honestly think in the first couple of months, Classic might be more popular than their current expansion.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
I think,
especially if they release it at a dead point, like you're going to have all those people flood back into vanilla. And that's kind of why I'm excited for it to come out. Because, like, you know, for guys like you, like, it's going to boost y'all's community tenfold, I think, from, you know, what it is now. And, like, I'm excited for that because I want, you know, the people that have been kind of like, you know, sneaking through Twitch, you know, it gives them a chance to grow and have fun with it. Like, I'm excited for you guys to have a big community, I guess. But
yeah, well, I do think, like, I think Soda Pop and Shroud, all the big boys, what's his name? Summit, they've all said before that they played Classic WoW when it came out on Twitch. And I think it'd be the number one game for a long time. Maybe not Fortnite. Never mind. Fortnite kind of popped off recently, but I think it'd be like top 3 on Twitch, and Twitch kind of does dictate.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, if one of those random streamers with tens of thousands of viewers at one time plays a random indie game on Steam, they see like a substantial boost of sales, right? Let alone you know, a very popular game where people got their, like, Soda got his origin from WoW, right? Like that's where he got his name. But are you guys familiar with RuneScape right now? Like,
Oh yeah.
Not
well, I don't play it now.
Like
Played it back in the day.
They have like a new version called 07scape. Do you know what that is?
Huh. No.
They basically re-released. It's basically like classic WoW, but RuneScape. They released.
Oh, I did hear about that.
They released a 2007 version of RuneScape. And what happened was, because there's RuneScape 3, which is the current game, like Legion, and there's 2007scape, which would be like classic WoW. And this came out like 5 years ago. And initially the game had no changes, but over time they have a poll system. And if 75% of the player base vote yes on a random poll, like for content or a quality of life change, it passes. And what happened is in 2018, the 2007scape is actually more popular than their main game. The changes, I think for better or for worse, the changes have actually made the game more popular. So,
I mean, it
definitely does kind of. It does. I don't want any changes in Classic, but I wonder how popular it would be if they ever did add kind of that kind of stuff, right? The quality of life stuff.
Yeah, I almost feel like if they're gonna do something like that, like if Blizzard decides to do something like that, they need to redo the engine because one thing I can't get past anymore is the graphics of Classic. Now, I'm not saying they're great by any means now, but they have updated a lot of textures and things do look better. And I mean, it's still on the same old engine. They're just retextured everything. But I think if they remade the game completely with a new engine, they could see a lot of people flood back, even if it's the same content.
That's probably the one thing that I want the most, me personally, is I want them to, like, if they could, coming out with Classic, you know, revamp the engine, you know, put it on, you know, the fucking Crisis engine or whatever you want to put it on. Something so much better than what it is now.
Crisis.
Like, the people, the argument against that is, oh, well, they don't want to push away the people that don't have a good enough computer. Like, WoW as it is now, you have to have you can't fucking run it on a toaster anymore like you could back in vanilla.
Yeah.
You know, you still have to have a decent computer to run WoW at a decent pace now. And so the whole, they'll push people away, that's bullshit. I think it's literally, they don't want to spend the time or money. But I think if they release Classic with a brand new engine, like, it would bring so many more people back than it would if they just released it how it is now. Just, here's your old game. Here, have fun with it.
Well, so I'll be honest with you guys. I actually love the old graphics. I really do.
What? Is it a nostalgia thing? Like, is that what it is? Like, I don't get it.
I played. This is pretty much all I play the past 4 years in my free time. Like, I definitely do enjoy the old graphics. I have a good solution though, and they had this solution. I think it might have been WAD. I think sometime during WAD or end of MOP, they had like toggleable graphics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they made
I think they have it now.
Yeah, so just do that. Yeah, just do that. If you really, it'll be client side, right? So you can play with the old graphics like myself, and then for my friends Nathan and Asen, you guys can go play with your Panda graphics. So but I think it's a simple solution. It'll be client side, so I don't think it really affects anybody, right?
Right.
Well, it'll affect people in a good way, right? If you don't play those old games.
Right. If it's up to them. I mean, they've had add-ons and mods in the past that have reskinned things.
Oh yeah.
Like Druid forums and stuff like that, and they would look really, really nice. But all those have been banned at this point.
I mean, I play with Reshade on my private server client. Like Reshade.
What is that?
It's with any you can use Reshade. So Reshade is like a color/texture program that you can apply to any game to enhance colors or enhance like jagged edges and all that fun stuff. So in a way, I do have modifiable graphics.
How dare you?
Right? Yeah, I know.
That's not classic WoW. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, I defiled the old game. I know. So I definitely do see like your perspective, like your guys' perspective of it. I do see that. But yeah, I don't know, man. Fun question.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna move to our random thought of the day segment to kind of close out the show here.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Already done an hour. Holy crap!
Yeah, dude, this has been really cool.
Goes fast.
All right, so the random thought obviously has to do with Warcraft.
Okay.
Since that's what we talked about. So if you could choose one race from Warcraft, and that's in retail or classic, if you could choose one race to be present in real life, what would it be?
Obviously, you can't pick human for this, right?
Right.
The actual in-game humans, like a bunch of over buff, like muscle heads.
You know, before I answer, there's one quick thing I want to talk about. The male humans, even like back in the day and even now in World of Warcraft, they all look like 1970s porn actors. They really do.
Yeah.
I don't know who
they really do.
I don't know who the hell designed the male humans in WoW. But
yeah, and before you answer, have you ever, like in the old models, what you would see, have you ever looked at the bottom, like if you lay down on the ground and look at the bottom of their feet?
No, I haven't.
It looks like duck feet.
Are they? Oh my god.
Like there's these like, it's almost like they tried to texture something, but it ends up looking like just a bunch of lines, so it looks horrible.
Oh my god. So it's like webbed feet?
Yeah, like it just looks bad.
All right.
He's gonna do it now.
I think I'm going to pick. I think I like Blood Elf. I think Blood Elf is really cool, in my opinion. I think their story, their background story. I'm not a huge lore guy, but I know a bit of it. I think aesthetically they look pretty good. Male and human. Male, sorry, not male and human. Male and female. Females, by the way. Female Blood Elves.
See, that's what I'm saying. We had this conversation before.
Yeah, we had this conversation.
Not bad.
He also chose Blood Elf, and the guys look like women.
No, they're just metrosexual. That's it, man.
They're just like, oh yeah, dude. And they just like swish their hair to the side. They're like, hell yeah. They don't even have warriors, or I mean, they do now. But when they first came out, right, they didn't have warriors. Blood Elves didn't.
Yeah, you know what I heard recently? I heard Taurens can be paladins. Is that true?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Tauren can be paladins.
What a world! What a world we live in. Oh
well, okay. There's lore to that. There's lore to that.
No, I don't give a crap, Asen. There's no possible lore that can justify.
Yes, there is. It doesn't have anything to do with the holy light. That's why it's good. That's why I like it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so you know who Anshe is, or Anshe?
I don't know.
It's what the Tauren call like Mother Earth. So they Azeroth, like the earth below them. And there's a different word, I don't remember what it is, for the sun. So the Tarn Paladins are actually called Sunwalkers. They're not actual like
Holy warriors.
OG. Yeah, they're not OG holy warrior like Paladin. They're Sunwalkers, so they like worship the sun. They have pretty much like sun energy is what they're using for their thing. Now, of course, they have the same mechanics in game, but lore wise, that's what they're using.
What is Asen? What's the healing spec of Paladins called right now in WoW?
Sunwalker.
Oh, it's called Sunwalker. Ah, yeah. So, when you cast heal, it's not called Holy Light. It's called Sun of Light or whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah, like I said, in-game mechanics is still holy. I get it.
So they completely retconned and destroyed the lore, but you like it, and you're a fan.
They didn't retcon the lore. I think it's just a different way of looking at it. Like, yeah, the holy light's still the holy light, but it makes sense for a Tarn to be like a paladin through their own energy source.
Well, it's the same way with the Blood Elves. I mean, they forced fucking Anaru to give them the shit.
If you didn't know that, like, Blood Elf paladins aren't actually paladins. They're called Blood Knights, or at least they used to be. Now that part has been fixed in what happened in the lore, but they used to bend the light to their will kind of thing through Anaru.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little things like that, but I don't know. I like that part of the lore. I don't think that's a bad thing. There is a few that are very, very questionable.
I'm giving you a rough time, man. I know.
I know.
I will say this: if somebody asks somebody back in TBC or Wrath what the most unlikely race class combo is, I think 9 out of 10 people say Tauren Paladin, and here we are in 2018. So I don't like.
Probably
it makes sense now that they explained it with the what's his name, Akshay, what's his name? Yeah. Anshay. It makes some random conjured up name from Chris Metzen, Anshay.
Well, that's been around for a long time. Okay.
Nah.
Even in classic, go make a tar and you'll hear about Anshay.
I'm also trolling you, dude. It's all good. So Nathan picked Blood Elf too, right? What did
I pick Blood Elf?
What'd you pick, Asen?
I don't know, to be honest, but I mean, when we were talking about it, I said Night Elf because I think it'd be cool, like for Night Elves to take over the NBA, and to like they'd be really tall, buff, lean looking dudes with like long ears. It'd be cool to see. I'd be very intimidated though.
Yeah, what's good is because if you throw an alley-oop, they'll be stealthed in the air. And they can in the air.
Yeah, exactly. You won't even see them. You'll just see these like plays
that
are just insane. You'll just see like people look like they're teleporting around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So why'd you pick Blood Elf though, Nathan?
I just said because the females were the best looking ones.
My man.
In the game.
You said, hold on. You said they were the best looking ones. And I'm like, oh yeah, you like the dudes?
I said the females were the best looking ones.
He was using gender appropriate pronoun.
Yeah.
He's being inclusive. He's being inclusive, right?
Right. Yeah. Including them all.
Dude, Justin Trudeau would be proud of you, Nathan. Good stuff, bro.
I appreciate that.
Good stuff, dog. You sure you're not Canadian?
Yeah.
You're actually from Oklahoma.
I'm not Canadian. That's for sure. Are you?
I'm from Detroit.
You're close. You're close to
I actually live
Canada.
10 minutes
Canada.
from
Canada.
Yeah, I do live 10 minutes from Canada. Justin Trudeau's. So, but what's funny is, I guess the drinking law in Canada is 19 or 18. I'm not sure, but basically
18. Yeah.
18. So a bunch of people,
I think.
Or 19. I think it is 19.
It could be 19. A bunch of people from Michigan just like go over the border, drive 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and just
get trashed.
Yeah, and come back. So. That right there is the honorary rite of passage if you're a young man or woman in Michigan. Just go to Canada when you're like 19 years old and buy, I don't know, like a Four Loko or I don't know what they have over there.
Do you ever go down to the shelter and like sign up for some rap battles?
Oh, like in... Oh my god! Like an 8 Mile?
Yeah, exactly.
I have not, man. I have not. I have not expanded my lyrical ability to wrap it up at the shelters, man. I don't. I don't. You know what? I'll go down there. I'll be Eminem. I think Nathan can be Cheddar Bob and shoot his own dick off with a gun.
And I'll somehow turn black and I'll be Mekhi Phifer.
Yes.
It's all good.
We need
This is
the ominous love interest. Was that Madonna in the movie?
No, it was Brittany Murphy, which R.I.P. Unfortunately, she's not around with us anymore. But
that wasn't Madonna.
No, it definitely wasn't Madonna.
Yeah, we need like an ominous love interest that cheats on us, but we go back to her for some reason. Which I'm still not, I have no idea why. I don't know. It was a good movie though. It was a good movie.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I had a lot of fun. I wish you the best in streaming. I hope
I did too, yeah.
Hope you don't get banned. And if Twitch is listening to this, then why the fuck are you listening to this right now? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
If people wanted to reach you on social media or come watch you stream, how can they do that?
So my Twitch name is Lavos10, and I made a Twitter last night actually. And
nice.
I think, how did people say the Twitters? I'm an old man. I'm 24, dude. I'm 24. I'm getting old. It's at
yeah, dude.
It's at Lavos10, but there's a O instead of there's a 0 instead of the O, right? So like LAV0S10 on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, honestly, it was a ton of fun. I actually had no idea it'd be this much fun. It was a blast. You guys are pretty damn good hosts too. So I had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it again.
Dude,
for sure.
I'm down, man. I'm down to shoot the shit. I'm for sure, man.
All right, we're doing another hour right now. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, dude, everyone out there, just go give him a follow on Twitter. Get that blown up, and don't get it too blown up though. We don't want him banned.
Yeah. Be careful.
You know, if I do get banned, I'm sending the angriest of emails to you guys.
We're gonna have his hate mob coming on here,
dude. All you have to say is if they're like, "Is this a illegal server you're on?" You're just like, "No, I'm playing the classic server alpha. It's cool." Like, I got the key from Blizzard.
Before we end, people, because it's like you can't find private servers naturally, right? So people from retail, because they browse the front page, right? People from retail, they're like, "Is this Project 60?" Right? They have that one Project 60 thing, and I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah, that's what it is.
Welcome, bro. It is. I'm actually killing Ragnaros with Soda Poppin and Asmongold. So catch you later, dude. It was fun, guys. Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
All right, man. All right, guys. Well, please check out the Actions Per Minute Network at actionsperminute.net to check out our website. Email us at coldonepodcast@gmail.com to let us know what you think of the episode. And if you want to answer any of the questions we had or let us know anything about WoW, then you're welcome to email us there. Make sure and follow us on Twitter and Facebook, which is both at Cold One Podcast. That way you know when new episodes are up. We have a Discord, so check it out. I'm sure Lavos at some point will pass by and give you all smooches.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see that Discord on our website as well, so you can join it from there. And lastly, if you guys can go into your podcast apps and like and subscribe to the Cold One with the Boys, that would be very much appreciated. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Laters.
Yeah.